Hello and welcome to That's What Speaks. Today it's Friday, December 10th, and this is episode 306. I'm Amy Beth, also known as the Fat Squirrel on Ravelry and the Fat SQRRL on Instagram. Thanks for coming over to visit. They're fully Christmas cookies. Oh, that's right. Like the rolled sugar cookies with the icing. I guess it is icing because it's like a smooth, minimal amount. Frosting is like frosty. No, wait, frosting would be less. I don't know. As you will see, I don't do the fancy decorating. My level of patience is that I take the cookie and then I just dip the very top of it in like a runny-ish icing that is just made of like powdered sugar, milk, and corn syrup, and most importantly, almond extract. So I just like dip it in there and then like slide it off the edge of the, like scrape it off delicately on the edge of the bowl. So there's just like a very fine amount of icing. Those are our family Christmas cookies. This is the first year the teen has not helped with the Christmas cookies. Oh my gosh, I love my tea. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. So we have the Christmas cookies, and then also I'm having the candy cane crush tea from David's Tea because it is a holiday treat. But you're more than welcome to peruse what is available yet. I will say that unless you are like very emotionally invested in having the Christmas morning tea, I'm holding off on that one. But you can get anything else you want. So minty. Oh, what I'm wearing. This does not have a pattern. Maybe I should like write a pattern for it. Maybe there is a pattern now. But anyway, it's basically like kind of based on the, is it called Foolproof by, is that Louise Zaspagnon? Am I just like hallucinating? All right, I'll check. I mean, come on, y'all. I can't be in charge of everything, and I'm not wearing my bifocals, so this is going to take a minute. But I think it's called... I've really finally adapted to the bifocals, and like now I actually do need them. Okay, it is! I wasn't even making it up! So it's the Foolproof Cow, so it's based on this. But this is a knitted version. And it is by Louise Zaspagnon. That's Bangham. But mine is granny square style. So it's 3 double crochets, I want to guess. Yeah. And I made it last year out of some hand spun. And I love it. I will say that I have a fingering weight one of the Foolproof Cow, and I don't care for it as much. I definitely like a meatier one. Meatier one. Not meteor one. But maybe. Yeah, we won't talk about that. I said that like there's something to talk about. Like I have secret meteor news. I don't. Don't worry. It's okay. But I like a chunkier cowl than the fingering weight one, I think. Or maybe it was just because it was like not a... Whatever. Basically, you make a V, and then you keep adding onto it. And then you make another V, and then you put the V's together. See? How fun. So it's like a shawl start. And then you just work. And then you work. And if you're like, oh, I want to use up every single bit of my yarn, you can put your V's together, which is what I did here. See, here's one of my V's. Did I? I thought that's what I did. Maybe I'm a liar who lies. Okay, I didn't do that. But you can put your V's as close together as you want. Like mine are not perfectly in half. Here are my 2 V's, right? So you can put them as close together as you want so that you can use up every little bit of yarn, which I highly recommend. Especially with hand spun, but also just in general because it's very fun to get to use up all your yarn and not have extras. But then let's start talking about stuff. Okay, what should I talk about? Okay, this is kind of administrative. I just have to tell you this because it's so cute. Last time I was talking about Andrew Wyeth and how much I love Andrew Wyeth, even though, I mean, I love Andrew Wyeth's paintings. I don't know that I love him. Probably don't. He's a white dude. I know I'm married to one of them. I'm just saying, what is this? Oh, sorry guys. This is going to be distracting. I'm married to one of them. I'm just saying. Just saying. Somebody's going to get their panties in a twist. Okay. So this is what Betsy, oh, I'm sorry. This is what Deb sent me, and she sent it to me via your email. So Deb, thank you. Hey, Amy Beth, fun facts. After you mentioned Andrew Wyeth in a recent podcast, I thought you might like to know that his wife Betsy was a prolific knitter and friend of Elizabeth Zimmerman and Meg Swanson. The 2010 book Elizabeth Zimmerman's Knitter's Almanac, the commemorative edition, features an Andrew Wyeth painting, Arctic Circle, on the frontispiece. The painting is of his curator, Mary Landa, who is also an avid knitter. Mary is wearing Elizabeth Zimmerman's Maltese fisherman's hat, which she knit herself. I won't read the rest, but it was cute. Okay, so okay. I love that I was talking about them in the same breath last time, and I was like thinking about my Andrew Wyeth and Zimmer Moon. So this is Knit One, Knit All, which is Elizabeth Zimmerman's garter stitch designs. By the way, this is a great book if you like garter stitch, and if you like the Elizabeth Zimmerman aesthetic, which is it's uniquely her own. But the great thing about it is in the back, there's like a visual index of all these garter stitch patterns, and where there's a key and tells you like what publications they're made in. Because this is like way pre-Ravelry, kids. But anyway, so it's a great book, but also because your library probably has it. But also, I was noticing before that I was sent this email, in the back is a picture, it's a photograph of Andrew Wyeth wearing one of several New Zealand sweaters knitted by his wife Betsy. This photo originally appeared in Life magazine 1997. What? Later, Wyeth washes the dishes while his wife stands at the counter. They talk about the sweater he is wearing, a silver gray turtleneck she knitted. I love this one, he says. It's like armor on top. She gazes at him. It goes well with your eyes, she says. Your eyes are so blue today. I mean, they clearly should have talked more about this knitting and versus like framing it as him or as her adoring him so much. But I'm sure she did adore him quite a bit. But yeah, you know, everything's complicated. But isn't that lovely? Love it. That was just a little fun touchback from last week. Okay. Last time. It wasn't last week. And then, should we talk about... Okay, I don't know how you feel, and you might be like a person who does not feel like this at all, but that was a dumb thing to say. I highly enjoy cheesy Christmas movies. I kind of just call them Lifetime Christmas movies, even though many of them are not produced by Lifetime, nor do I have a subscription to the Lifetime channel. Although I have gotten it in the past, and if you want to do that, it's very easy to cancel. So, like, if that's your jam, treat yourself. And they are very good about letting you cancel it, like, in January. Or whenever you get, like, your fill. Which often, for me, it happens before Christmas. But so I wanted to talk about my favorites so far this year, I think. I didn't think hard about it, but here are the ones I'm enjoying. Oh my god, this is so distracting. Okay, so... First one. Okay, and this is in order of enjoyment, I think. Yes, definitely. So, this is my order of enjoyment and recommendation. At the top of my list is Single All the Way. It's available on Netflix, maybe someplace else. I don't know. The cutest. Highly enjoyable. Worth your free 2 hours, or whatever it is. Probably like 67 minutes or something. I have no idea. Very cute. I enjoyed all the people's interactions. I did read a review of it by a man who was like, there is like no chemistry between these leading characters. There's like a total lack of steam. And it's just, I don't know if he said this, but I'm assuming he's just like, why did they make such a PG version of this like romance? But to that I say, like, have you seen any of these movies? Like, that is kind of a common thread in this genre. Now, I'm not sure why it is. Like, is this like the lack of like actual chemistry between the actors? And usually they're pretty, like, even, and there's definitely not a lot of like PG-13 viewing material, but there's also just like not chemistry. Like, I definitely think you can have actors who don't interact sexually still have a tension between them that can be more dynamic, but they don't even have that. Generally, I would say that is definitely the exception in the like Lifetime Christmas movie genre rather than the rule. Definitely. But I was like, so then it started making me think, like, again, that would be my comment to that gentleman who made that comment, was like, okay, but like, that is not what these movies are, just in general. And I was actually just really happy that there was a leading gay male character. I want also a leading lady character who is non-hetero cis. Like, thank you. Can we get this happening? Let's get it going, kids. Let's have it. In fact, one of the, I have no idea. It was like a tweet that I reposted that was somebody speculating that they would love to have a Lifetime Christmas movie. About a leading character that when she goes into Joann's to buy her, you know, they have to ask you what you're making with your stuff today, which, by the way, I did not realize for quite some time that they had to do that. I just thought it was super engaging and interesting. Crushed. But anyway, so that she like repeatedly goes into Joann's and she happens to always get the same cutting lady, and they just like develop this like increasing tension amongst their like interactions, and they're like, and I was like, that would be the best movie ever. Many of you agreed. But anyway, so we just need more non-hetero cis ones. Yes. But at the same time, they do often adhere to this like very like platonic, like safe level of interaction. And I don't know why that is. Like, why is that feels it feels comfortable. And I'm not sure why. Is it because like we don't have to, like, as a parent or something, like you don't have to worry about like your child running through the room and seeing something that maybe you're not ready to like talk with them about, like in terms of like physical interaction between people, or like what, or is it just because it feels safer because you're like, oh, this is very pleasant and nice, but I'm not getting like really swept into it. I'm not feeling feelings that I don't want to access at this time because maybe they're deeper and more complicated. I mean, that's probably really what it is. Because really, like, I tried to watch this one that was called, like, Christmas Strike. This is not about romance at all. Striking on Christmas? It was several years old. I mean, like, 10 years old. Horrid. I couldn't make it through. Usually I can make it through all of them because, like, clearly I'm knitting. And, like, also, like, making dinner or, like, doing other whatever. It's still hurting me that I wasted like 30 minutes of my life trying to like let that movie redeem itself. It's a terrible movie. It's about a mother of 2 teenage sons, and she has a male husband, and they are doing their Christmas stuff, and like she is the only one who is actively participating in any of the Christmas stuff. And she's like asking them to help, but they're completely indifferent to it and not helping, and they just focus on their own things. But like and I know that as a viewer, I'm supposed to be angry at them for not like participating and doing the things, but I was also just, no, not also. I was just angry at her for like, I was like, these people are clearly not interested in this thing that you want them to be interested in. I mean, use your energy however you want to. But like, sometimes people just are not interested in the things you're interested in. Like, that's okay. Anyway, it made me very angry. I would love to process it with you. We're having knit nights. We're having virtual knit nights for patrons of the podcast. Thank you. And we're having one tomorrow. I posted it there, so don't think I'm just giving them this much notice. We're having one Saturday, the 11th at 9 p.m. Eastern I guess we're daylight time, whatever, we're the normal Eastern time. And then we're having one Sunday next, which I think is the 19th. It's the next, like it's the week from the Sunday after the 11th. So that would be the 19th at noon. I would love to discuss how you feel about these Lifetime Christmas music there. I'm giving Lifetime so much credit for things they didn't make. Whatever, they're like Kleenex now. What are you gonna do? Okay, but that was all to say that Single All the Way. Also really enjoyed Love Hard. Also available on Netflix. Very charming. I did read a review that was like, I'll quote it exactly because I feel like this is a perfect review for like, well, really, okay. This is the review. This cookie cutter rom-com has nothing more or less than what is its subgenre demands. And I was like, yes, that's what I'm looking for. I would definitely say this is on the better half of, I mean, this is definitely not like the middle of the subgenres queue because it's definitely better than the average. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for nothing more or nothing less. Thank you for giving me that. But it was very charming and I enjoyed it. Also, the main character likes candles and he's a gentleman and I'm in love with that. I'm like, more crafting male leads. Thank you. So excited. And then I also have to mention Castle for Christmas, Brooke Shields, and some other famous dude who I don't know the name of. I gotta say, overall, not a fan. Even though I feel like Brooke Shields is terribly charming. Talk about no charisma between the actors. Like, no chemistry. I mean, maybe it's just me. But from my viewpoint, no chemistry. But there are knitters in it and they are hella cute. So that's it's worth your like, I got some time to kill while I'm knitting. And it is very attractive looking. It's like a trophy wife. It's very well produced. Ooh, I just said that comment without even really thinking about it. But I mean, that's a stereotypical thing, right? I'm not saying anybody is that, but that's like what you think of. Like, it's very pretty. It's nice to look at. It doesn't challenge you. Thanks. Thanks, Lifetime Christmas movie. Right? That's what I'm saying. Also, okay, so I think that's all of the chit chat. Is that all the chit chat? I think so. Yeah, totally. So, because I mean, I know you got Vlogmases to watch, right? There's a lot of good stuff out there. I don't want to keep your time too much because, the Gentle Knitter is doing Vlogmas. What? Oh my gosh, what is her, I don't think I've really watched. Woolen Forest is also doing one and hers is terribly charming. Mars of Hey Brownberry is doing like a Vlogmas minute, which I'm enjoying so much. So thank you so much to those producers. That takes so much time and so much like bandwidth. Thank you so much for producing those amazing things for us to enjoy, like in our quiet moments while we're knitting in the morning or something. Oh, you guys are the greatest. Oh my gosh, thank you. The dogs went crazy because the FedEx man was here. Oh, that's what I was going to talk about. So since last time I finished a new to me pattern sewing. So we're going to do sewing for a moment. And it is the Florence dress by Merchant and Mills. And it is a dress that it's a pattern that's available both as, the pattern itself offers two views. One of them is the full dress and one of them is like a, flouncy top. So it's basically just like the dress cut off. Now see, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't tell if it's focusing or not. It's not. I can't tell if it's just my eyeballs. There we go. So that is the schematic of it. It is actually not technically available to my size. It goes to a US 28, and that bust circumference is, wait, that's the finished measurements. That bust circumference is 55 inches and a hip of 57.5. but it is very much oversized. It says that the finished garment measurement is 61 3/4 at the bust, and then whatever, you can find that other information there. So I actually did just make the largest size, and I did not adjust the sleeves, which I was very surprised. I was very nervous that the sleeves were not going to fit, except I made them long sleeves. But I didn't have to adjust the circumference of the sleeves or anything because I made, oh, here, let me just show you a picture of it here. So this is actually me at my mom's house on Thanksgiving, just being silly. So I posted this to Instagram, and this is me in my new Florence dress. So I made mine with a stretch corduroy that I purchased from Joann Fabrics. It's like, I think the colorway was called Spice. And it is like I don't know, I don't think it was labeled, but it's like a 21 weight. It's a very fine, like a pinwheel. But the fabric itself is actually a little heavy for that dress. I totally still enjoyed it because I actually don't mind for my clothes to be kind of heavy. Is that like a weighted blanket? I don't know what that is. But like I could kind of see if you're a smaller person, or if you had a smaller frame, that even though your proportionally your dress would be smaller, it might be like more cumbersome, but whatever. I still really enjoyed it in that fabric, but I think I would definitely not make it in anything thicker or heavier, just because there is a lot of gathering, especially in the back. And I think the corduroy kind of helps because it's sort of like, even though it's a heavier fabric, like it kind of was almost self-pleating because of it's not really at all what it is. But it does make it easier to gather because of just the construction of corduroy, I feel, for the weight of the fabric, versus like a denim, if it was that weight, I think would not want to gather that way. But as I was saying, I think it's very cute and charming, and I love it. I did not find their pattern instructions for this one terribly intuitive for me. There was one part, especially when I was doing the like button placket, that I was like not at all sure. There's like a bias binding for the neckline and a button placket, and I had never done anything like that before, like a combination of those two. And the instructions were not clear to me, but that might just be me and my lack of well, it's not just me. I'm sure somebody else has had trouble with it too. I would have liked the instructions to be more explicit there, but otherwise it was very easy to put together and quite enjoyable. Did I do anything else? I did make it a little bit longer. I am like 5'6½", and so usually clothes are drafted for like, I think women's clothes are drafted typically for like 5'5", but I did want my dress to be long, just for like coziness factor. So I did make mine a bit longer. That was me just checking focus. What else? But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. I definitely, I have plans to make another one in the future. It's a lot of volume. So like, especially when you're getting in and out of a car, you kind of have to like I kind of had to like pull it around me so I could easily get in the car and then let it go, because otherwise you get like twisted around. But I mean, that's kind of the case with anything that's a skirty thing. Yeah. That's all I'm doing in sewing. I cut out a pair of Glebe pants, which is by a pattern by Moonip. Did I say that the Florence dress was by Merchant and Mills? Sorry if I didn't. I did cut out a pair of Glebe pants out of a very dark blue corduroy, which is a wider wale, which I'm excited about. I didn't leave them. The Glebe pants are a very wide leg pant because they're basically just cut straight down. But when you have my like hip circumference, that width of pants actually for me becomes like a hazard. Because I get my feet stuck in them, like when I'm walking up steps and things, or like if the ground is unlevel, like lots of times like the pant legs are big enough for my feet to get caught in them, or like to catch the edge, and I can trip myself. So I did narrow my pant leg a little bit. What I did is kind of like, I made the chassis, like the bottom, like for your butt, not the bottom. The top half of the pants for your bottom. The top half of the pants, I used the Glebe pattern, and then I kind of like, laid the Noise jeans over top of it. So I used that like to taper the leg down a little bit. So we'll see how that goes. I just want to wear a lot of corduroy apparently. I forgot to mention that corduroy, maybe I didn't forget. The corduroy that I used for my my dress that I was telling you about is actually stretch, which I think is one of the reasons I got away with the sleeves. It has enough stretch in it that it doesn't feel like it's, even though they don't have ease in them for me, they're pretty much just like straight up because of the stretch corduroy. It doesn't feel snug at all, which was awesome. Yeah. I think that's all I have to tell you. Anyway, I'm excited to see how these pants work out. I hope I've not had corduroy pants since I was in like, that's not true. I have a pair of stretchy corduroy pants from LL Bean that I actually quite like, and they have had no issues with the thigh rubbing. So I'm hoping that these are that way as well. Let's see. But those pants from LL Bean are too short for me, which is crazy because I have the shortest legs available. Even though I'm like a slightly taller than average in the US, like I have very short legs. I am all torso. My husband is 6'4". When he and I sit next to each other, we look like we're the same height. I mean, I'm also sitting on a lot of butt that he does not have access to. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. Just saying. But yeah, so that's what's going on in sewing. I want to get a lot of other sewing for me done for the holidays. I'm excited about adding a few things. I want to add a few more pairs of pants and maybe another dress. And then maybe a couple of shirts to kind of round out my winter me wardrobe instead of like available to me wardrobe, which I'm excited about. So then let's talk about wool yarny stuff. Ready? Okay. Oh, speaking of wool, and it's right here. If you are interested in the wool bags, I was able to source a little bit more of this fabric. So there are a few listings just for the plaid ones in the shop now. They'll just be like a sewn to order, so they'll go out like a week or whatever. Oh, I didn't put this is mine, so I didn't put a fancy leather thing on it. But they do have like a little leather zipper pull, which there's a picture of in the shop. So fatsquirrelfibers.com if you're interested. There's just a few listings. So, but anyway, but if you're interested, they're there. Okay, so then crochet time. So do you remember my crazy vest? I'm not completely done yet. Are you kidding me? I know, right? Well, I'm done. I was done with the crocheting last time we talked. And I think I had put my zipper in, and maybe I had started to put in my pocket zippers. My pocket zipper's right there. Whoops, you can see it. Bazam. But I really stalled on the thought of this pocket. No, I don't think I had put in the pocket zippers because I was so stalled on how to do the pocket bags. I was like really like struggling with how I was going to attach, because in my head what I was going to do was basically make a pocket, like a two-piece pocket, or like, you know, like a full pocket that would like be something you could put your hand in even if it wasn't attached to something. So like a two-sided, there we go, two-sided pocket. And then I was going to attach that to the zipper and then attach that unit to the vest. And I really kind of just was like overwhelmed by how I was going to do that. I mean, originally when I thought about it, I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I'll do. No problem. But then when I started thinking about how to actually do it, I was like, oh, you have to like draw something. And then like, how do I get that to be that way? And so I just like got like befuddled. And then I had this realization that like I was making it way harder than it needed to be. Because A, have you seen this thing? It's crazy. But B, all I needed to do really was attach the zipper to the pocket. All I needed to do was attach the zipper to the sweater, like where my pocket was. I had left that part open. And then just do like a 1-layer pocket bag. Come on. Why? Of course, that's way easier than I was making it. I know this knit doesn't match perfectly, but it's what I had on hand. And I was thinking about cutting up a brown t-shirt to use, but I didn't want to sacrifice the one brown t-shirt I had, which is a Hobbit one, so I was ready to do it, and then I just backed out and just made this one. Because, I mean, hi. you're not going to see this pocket. And like, even if you did, you'd be like, that seems in keeping with the rest of this garment. And you're like, yes, it does. So I'm just hand sewing that on, just like whip stitching it. It is just, again, one layer. I did use knit versus a woven because number one is that you don't have to worry with the edges raveling. So like I could literally just use one piece. Because these pockets are not going to get a lot of use. Like this is, I would probably use my pants pockets. These are mostly just going to be for like hands. You know what I mean? And like also that means if I decide that this doesn't work, it's very easy just to like rip out those whip stitches and because I've just like whip stitched it down. Like I can just like rip those out and just replace the pocket if I need to. But also I wanted to make it sure it was stretchy, because even though the crochet is not super stretchy, it does have some stretch to it. So I didn't want the pocket to like pull on the garment when it's stretched. So there's two reasons I used the knit. And then, yeah, somebody's going to ask, this is not a pattern, this vest. I mean, surprise, it's not a pattern. But this stitch is called the Granny Spike Stitch. And I did enjoy it quite a lot. And it makes a great solid fabric that, again, has some flexibility. So it's not super rigid. It doesn't involve knitting into like the top of crocheting into the top of the crochet stitches, which I don't like doing. Wait, now that I've said that, it actually may involve that. No, it doesn't. Okay, good. I was just like, wait, am I lying to you? It doesn't involve like catching those loops when you're crocheting, because I don't enjoy that. I enjoy like the granny stitch where you're knitting into like that big space between things. But it also produces a solid fabric, unlike that, you know, open granny kind of stitch. This is me processing whether I said anything that made any sense. You know what? You're here for it. So let's just move on. So anyway, so I've got one pocket started. I need to do the other pocket. And then I definitely need to go weave in ends. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and put like an I-cord edge on my armholes. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that just to kind of clean them up a little bit. But soon, buddy. Soon. And I was actually spurned on because I put on my like black puffer vest this fall, and I was like, somebody shrunk this puffer vest. It's not fitting as well as it used to. That's code for I no longer fit into this puffer vest. Comfortably. Without fear of popping a zipper. So I was like, I think I need to get going on my little zipper vest, because I love vests in the winter. Because A, I tend to run warm anyway, and then B, I love to like be able to get into a car and not feel like I am constricted. I don't like constriction of a coat. I mean, I will wear one, but I just don't like it. And I'll put off wearing it as long as I can. Okay, now let's go into knitting. I have finished objects. So last time I showed you that I was doing like a blueberry waffle inspired house sock. So this is 2 strands of fingering weight. It's the 90% Tarhi, which is definitely like a beefy fingering weight. Held double. And then this is, I used almost exactly all of my yarn to make these kind of like shorty socks. And I do have a wide foot. Like I use a 72 stitch sock usually. But for these I did 48 in what is essentially a worsted weight. And I used size 3 needles, I think. Yeah, like 3s, because you want them to be firm. Because, you know, they're going to get wear, or at least mine get wear, because I don't typically wear house shoes. I just wear socks. So yay, those are going in the rotation. Because my house is super old and the carpet pad is no longer even with us, and there is very little floor insulation. Okay. Other finished objects. Oh my gosh, I have a spinning finished object. I know, right? Don't fall over. But I'll show you this knitting one first, because we're talking about knitting. I finished, oh my gosh, this hat. I love it so much. So I am donating this to woolaid.org, which does accept 100% wool donations. You can find out more about it at wool-aid.org. This is Beaver Slide Merino. The yellow is something, I think it's called Lemon Lichen. And the green is some, I don't know, whatever. The blue, the green, whatever. Okay, but you know, I'm not good at remembering these things. It's on their website. And these are 100% merino. So the majority of their worsted weights, their 2-ply worsted weights, are 90% merino, 10% mohair. But for hats, I really love well, actually just in general, I do really love the merino ones because even though it's merino, it is woolen spun. It's not worsted spun. So it's still toothy, but it's super soft. It's a great combination. This is the Brioche Beanie, which is a pattern by Marilyn Blacketer. Brioche Basic Beanie. It's available in 3 sizes. I mean, come on. When I saw these 2 colors together, I was just like, but I need to make these things together. And so finally, I was like, when I found out that Wool-Aid accepted submissions, I was so excited because I was like, that is a perfect use for this yarn. Because even though I love this like so much, I probably wouldn't get a lot of wear out of it. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. But maybe I would. That's okay. I can make another one if I wanted to. I have my hair in a bun. I was like, why isn't it coming down on my head? Hi, dummy. You have your hair in a bun. So if you wanted it to be just like a pointy hat because you're super fun like that. Fabulous. So it is very basic brioche. You don't have to do any fancy brioche shaping. At the crown, it's like just like a super fast decrease and then sew them all together. And of course it is reversible because brioche is like that. I mean, come on. So enjoyable. So this is a great option if you're trying to learn brioche and you just want like a good solid amount of brioche to work on without having to do a lot of shaping or anything. So soft and so fluffy. So yay! And then, let me show you this before I forget. I finished my warm woolen mittens, which is a blended fiber from Hip Strings. My little camera. There you go. And it's turned out this like beautiful kind of like, I think your overall color you would call purple, which makes sense because the fiber as it was primarily red and blue, but you still get these great aqua and kind of like limey green pops in there. It's really enjoyable. I had 2 bumps of it and I have about 460 yards of a semi-woolen yarn and we'll see what it'll become. I don't know yet. But it was really fun to get a spinning thing done. I'm hoping to do some more spinning over winter break as well. Okay. And then I will show you, I'm test knitting a mitten pattern from one of the show's patrons. Patrons are awesome. So I didn't ask her if I could show it to you. Okay, I'll just show you the fabric. So it's this very fun 3-color. You're only doing 2 colors per row, but you use 3 colors overall. And you're using chunky wool. So I used... Oh, come on. Did not put the ball bands in there. Am I that big of a mess? Well, I guess I'll tell you next time. I got it on super sale when I had my sewing weekend time. It's this very pretty. And then I'm also using Quarry, Brooklyn Tweeds Quarry, which I had left over from a sweater I made. So the pattern works best if you have like a dark, medium, and light. Excuse me. But this is what I had on hand. So those are also going to Wool-Aid. But it makes a very nice warm mitten that feels very like solid and sturdy, but still very flexible. So I'm excited about it. And it has a good shape to it. Like it fits my hand close enough that I wouldn't be afraid about it like bagging off. That's one of the problems I have with mittens sometimes. It's like, especially the stranded mittens that like, because they lose elasticity, you have to give them a little extra space in there. And then like, it feels like they're going to fall off and it's a whole thing. But I think maybe because that one is such a regular stitch repeat, it still has, maybe it's just because it's more predictable, like the fabric feels more predictable. I don't know what it is, but I know it fits better. Maybe I just got lucky with this one. That's very possible. And then, okay, so I don't think I showed you, I don't know, because I didn't start it until like Thanksgiving, right? I have a slight tangle, y'all. Just a little bit of a tangle. Oh my Lord. Okay, so they weren't even actually intertwined. They were just in love with each other. So I purchased this Nomadic Yarns, and it was in a sparkle base, which I would never choose, but it was available as a ready to ship. It was already dyed, and this colorway just hit me. And I think it's called like Under the Mistletoe or, oh, sorry, sweetie, glasses over there. Meet Me Under the Mistletoe, and this is her Spark sock. I don't know why I put the tag there. Oh, that's right, because I was winding it, but now I know it's there, so I'll just leave it there. But look at this colorway. Is that not the most awesome, like, Victorian Christmas colorway? But yet it also has this kind of like, the gold is like borderlining on a scrummy green. I put on Instagram that I had gotten it to like this length and then paused because I was like, do these need to be mittens? But I forged ahead. And now they're going to be socks. But isn't it gorgeous? I know that this is a pattern, but I don't know what the pattern is called. But it's basically, well, I mean, I know that, actually I don't know that this is a pattern, but I think there's a pattern where you just slip every X number of stitches on the color change row. But it's not like the Twizzler where it's like consistently like you slip every X stitch on every Y row. It's that it's mobile. So you're slipping every, in my case, I decided to slip every third stitch on the color change row. And so it gives you this very fun like pattern where you're like, is that a pattern? Like is that just how the yarn is done? What's happening? Right? And there's one place where I forgot to do it, so I'll show you what that looks like. It's like somehow I just forgot to do the pattern there. Right there. I don't know what happened, but whatever. And I didn't decide to do it till after I'd done my toe. It was the whole thing. So you can totally do it on your toe, but I just didn't. And these will just be afterthought heels. But it's so pretty. So yeah, I haven't knit with like the 2-ply merino, superwash merino nylon sparkle base in forever, but I'm really enjoying it. These colors are really good. It's probably a big part of it. So again, that's Nomadic Yarns. She does a beautiful sock yarn. Speaking of beautiful sock yarn, I'm going to show you my Advent socks, which are from Woolens and Nosh. So you will be spoiled if you're knitting yours because I am ahead of the 10th color because my feet are very big. And so my stripes are very skinny. And so therefore I have to knit more than one stripe a day if I want my socks to be done by Christmas. So close your eyes. I will try to remember to yell back at you when you can see them again. Okay, now I'm going to show them. Close your eyes. If you're wondering if you should look, even though you have yours and you don't want to be spoiled, you don't want to be spoiled. Close your eyes. Close them. Okay, so here's my sock so far. Isn't it cute? And actually I have two. Okay, you can look again. So I am knitting mine on double zeros. I knit my socks on double zeros for a very long time, and then I went to zeros because I felt like I was better able to tension. But I've noticed this base is the 90% superwash Tarhi, 10% nylon, and it's the beautiful base I love from so many dyers. I've noticed that my socks that are made with it are fuzzing up a little bit more than I would love, and I think I need to knit them at a tighter gauge. So I decided to go down to double zeros, and instead of using my normal 72 stitches, is that right? Yeah, normal 72, I'm doing 76. And they're perfect. And they feel really good because they've got that toothy grab of the Tarhi, but then they're extra firm. They just feel really like they're going to be good socks. I'm excited about them. But yeah, I'm knitting them on carbons. The carbons are my double point for socks. They're the only double points I use because they hold up for me because I use zeros and double zeros mostly for socks. And when the needle is that skinny, like it's pretty hard not to like have it break on you or bend significantly. So the carbons really do hold up for me. And I like that they are slippy on the point, but grippy on the shaft. I just like whatever the word for aesthetics, but of touch are. I enjoy that about them. Is that a word? Is there a word for that? I mean, like aesthetics is visual, but like, I mean like the touch aesthetics. I really enjoy that. So yay. I have really dug knitting my little advent socks. And I've actually just really enjoyed my knitting of socks recently so much. I've kind of had to like push myself to knit other things because, well, luckily I did like do the whole like under the fingernail thing a few times. Like the way I knit, I push against my left double point to pull those stitches off. So I mean, I'm not really pushing against the needle point. Like needle point, I'm supposed to be using this finger to pull the stitches off. But oftentimes I catch it in the needle, and so I get that needle between my nail and my finger. And it really smarts. Like, it is unpleasant. So I can do, like, I have, like, some, like, shaving Band-Aids, or there's lots of things you can do to protect your finger. And I have started doing that again. When I just knit socks occasionally, it doesn't tend to happen. Because if it happens once, it doesn't bother me. It's like the third or fourth time it happens that you're really, like, you do that, like, trying not to curse loudly in front of your whole family. I mean, not that I don't curse loudly in front of my whole family, because I do. But I don't like to do it in anger. I like to just do joyful cursing. I really do. I enjoy joyful cursing so much. Anger cursing, not my favorite at all. In fact, I totally had a dream last night that I just remembered that I was in a knitting circle and I was dropping the F-bomb so much and the person next to me was like, I'm going to have to leave. And I was like, totally like confused for a moment, and I was like, oh yeah, but I mean, I wasn't saying it in angry style. I was like, it's just a sound. I got really confused. I mean, I totally understand when people don't like cursing, but for me it is more the spirit behind the cursing. I am totally happy with joyful cursing. When I get angry is when I do Gordon Ramsay cursing, where I call people donkeys and stuff. That's when you gotta watch out. Okay, and then the last thing I have to show you, I did knit a little bit on my Tilly and the Muffins. Did I just make my sweater? I knit on my Colorwork sweater bit, but I was having the issue with my finger, so clearly that means I need to decide to cast on another sweater, right? Clearly, I needed a worsted weight thing to like break up my knitting. So I have this yarn, which is Home from Barrett Wool, and this is the worsted weight Home. This is the Field colorway, and it really is this great kind of like, it's greener than like Honey from Quince and Company. So it is greener than that, but it has a very Quince and Company feel to it. It's a very round yarn. It's soft. Not like merino soft, but just like, it's just soft. Like it's squishy. It has good bounce. It's really pleasant to knit with. I like the amount of twist in the yarn. Quite a bit. And yes, so I've just got a sleeve. I just started a sleeve. So this is going to be, there's an extra, I'm like, where's this needle coming from? That's an extra needle. This is, I think it's, what is it called? Clue? Yeah. This is Kahlua by Tiny Cocktails. Baby Cocktails, not Tiny Cocktails. I apologize. So it looks like this. I wanted just a very basic V-neck, but I wanted it to have texture because I did not want another stockinette stockinette project. So I definitely wanted texture. And I think one of the reasons I love my sweater that I've knit with Brooklyn Tweed is that it has, which is the anyway, it's by Hoagie Locatelli. And I want to say it's Samhain, but it's not. But the texture of the sweater, even though it doesn't look like rib, this one does look much more like rib, but it has a very nice elasticity to it. And I think it just helps it to like stay on my body in a very comfortable way. Like it doesn't feel like it's like if I wear it open, it doesn't feel like it's falling off my chest. It stays in place really nicely, even though it's a very lightweight yarn. The yarn does have grab to it, so it probably is kind of helping it to anchor onto my body. But I just really love wearing that sweater. Like it feels great. So I wanted something that maybe would kind of have a similar feel, but maybe be a little bit sturdier, like a little bit less delicate than the fingering weight one. So that's the reason I went with this pattern, is because it had sort of elastic qualities to the rib. And then again, it was worsted weight, but it was still simple. It wasn't like overly fussy. It has like a V-neck option. Anyway, it just seemed like a good fit. Oh, and I think there are very cute pockets, if I'm not mistaken. Did I make that up? Maybe I did. I looked at so many sweaters, I probably just projected that on. I may have just projected that onto the sweater, but I'll need to make pockets now apparently, because in my head those pockets were very charming. But anyway, so I only have a sleeve, but hey. Oh, and then I was going to do a tubular cast on because it's 1x1 rib for the cuff, and I used this blue mallardy, no, mallard is not the right word. This tealy aqua, that's the word, aqua. This aqua-y greeny blue for my waist yarn. Let me just discuss those two colors. I think I have to make a sweater that's striped or something because they were gorgeous together. I was trying to see, I don't have that skein of yarn. Anyway, just amazing together. And I really, I love this field colorway. She's got like two values of a slightly grayer blue, and they are beautiful with this green. But I really love this like very bright poppy aqua with it too. I was gonna just leave it that way and then show it to you, but then I realized like the cast on wasn't looking right, so I had to take it out, and it wasn't right. I just made up a tubular in the round cast on. I didn't like bother to see if it was the right way to do it. Whatever. It was not the right way to do it. So I'm glad I did take it apart, even though I was in love with how the colors were looking together, because it would have been okay. But so yeah, that's all my knitting. I hope you enjoy. I hope you enjoy all the good stuff. Will we talk before solstice? We will, right? What is today, the 10th? Oh, no, we might not. Oh, but we should. I should talk to you before solstice. Oh, anyway. if I don't, I hope you enjoy your shortest day. I get really melancholy because I'm like, but I want the shortest day to be like more than one day, please. I like the dark season so much. But I understand. I'm a redhead. I probably have a slightly better vitamin D factory than some of you. So I definitely take some vitamin D. Oh my goodness, consult with your doctor. I'm not a doctor, but take some vitamin D. It's really just good for you all around. Oh, we don't get enough of it. The only thing you have to be careful with, I think, with vitamin D is if you're taking a lot of calcium for some reason, and that can cause hardening, like drain, something like, what do they call it? Drain pipe veins, arteries. So, that's something you definitely be careful. I'm sure there's other things. I'm sure there's like other, okay, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a pharmacist, I'm not a nurse, I'm nothing. But check in to see if you can take some more vitamin D. It'll make you feel better all around. It's super cheap. Your body doesn't hold on to it if you don't need it. You'll just pee it out. And I really do feel like it's good for you. Somebody's going to be like, don't offer health advice. You're right. I'm sorry. I take it back. But if you were here, I would send you home with some in a baggie. Didn't have it at home. Because I care about you. I will talk to you next time. Bye.